In this devlog, we're going to be making a bunch of small changes and bug fixes to the mobile Git client app called GitSync that I've been working on. If you're new, hi, I'm Viz, and if you're not, welcome back. GitSync is an app that I've been developing to make it easier to sync and interact with Git on mobile, and it's available on Android and iOS. This devlog series will give you a peek behind the curtain and show you how I go about working on a project like this as a solo developer. If you want to learn more about the project or the codebase, please check out devlog 0 for more info. But to cover the basics, GitSync is a Flutter project with a Rust API layer for Git operations. So yeah, today is a bug fix episode where I just blitz through a bunch of small disparate changes. Huge shout out to B3Mate in the Discord for taking the time to run me through their findings in the iOS app. It's been a massive help. As an Android user, it's sometimes hard for me to find the more obscure behavior that raises its head with long-term use on iOS. That being said, if you come across any bugs or issues in the iOS or Android app, please do feel free to drop a message in the Discord or email me. Okay, let's get into it. First up, some iOS users were facing a situation where the app is stuck on the splash screen with the icon shown forever, leaving them unable to actually use the app. This turned out to be caused by a combo of bad network conditions and a blocking Firebase sign-in, causing the app to wait for a sign-in that was never going to complete. It is easily fixed by moving that sign-in to the background, so it doesn't block the splash screen, and also to add a timeout so the app doesn't wait forever for that sign-in. Now the next thing I'm going to do isn't really a bug fix, but a little adjustment to improve the perceived app speed. What I've done is reordered some of the UI updates, making sure the faster ones are first. This makes the UI feel as fast as possible and minimizes the time waiting for things to load. Another not bug next, which is the switch to client/sync mode in the dropdown. Sync mode and client mode are the two UI modes that are presented to users in the app. As you might be able to guess, sync mode is simpler and more focused on automated background sync, while client mode attempts to behave more like you would expect a Git client to. This button in the dropdown is left over from when I initially added client and sync mode, to surface it more clearly to users, but is very much vestigial now, as client and sync mode are clearly presented to users as options during onboarding, and the toggle is still in the repository settings. I think it makes more sense for it to just live here, but let me know down in the comments if you have any suggestions on the UI. Something else I want to change, related to client and sync mode, is the shifting of the settings and the notification toggle between the two modes. I've changed this so that the settings and notification toggle are always right up here, for all users, so that the UI stays consistent. This is another thing, left from trying to make client and sync mode more visible to users, originally. Okay, onto an iOS bug. There's an issue on iOS where sync toasts don't show in the background because of an OS limitation. So, on iOS, if you have a background sync occur, there is currently no indication to the user that anything is going on. For that reason, I've now changed those iOS sync toast notifications, toggled with this button, to instead send notifications. I don't want this change to be a hassle to users, so it is set up to notify for the first notification, and then silently update for any subsequent ones. This should give the same functionality that Android users currently enjoy, without being overly intrusive for existing iOS users. Okay, now in repository settings, there's a bug here, where clicking more options doesn't take you to global settings, as I would expect, and just loads a wide screen. The wide screen doesn't happen in dev. It turned out to be a super simple fix. I'm passing some arguments to this page, but they were malformed and causing errors. I fixed that right up, and you can see the navigation works again now. While we're in global settings, I've been meaning to update these labels for the default repository settings to distinguish the UI from the repo settings fields. I want to make it clearer that these are the defaults for newly created containers. Containers, in GitSync, are a combo of auth and a selected repository, so multiple containers allows you to easily sync and interact with multiple repos. So now, I've updated those field labels, as you can see, to show that they are defaults. And lastly, to finish out the video, we'll be improving the Schedule Sync UI. Schedule Sync is a feature available on both Android and iOS in some form that allows you to have an automated sync run in the background on a set schedule. Currently, you can be shown UI to set a custom schedule, but in there is no indication of the current setting or if modifying has even worked or is in progress. So I've gone ahead and added a display of the current value, as well as adding a loading indicator when changes the setting too. I like that a lot better. Anyway, that's all I have time for today. In a future video, I do want to do a pass on the onboarding flow again, and maybe take a crack at updating some tests, but that marks the end of this video. If you want to stay up to date, feel free to join the Discord, and if you have any thoughts or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like if you liked, and subscribe if you want to do that too. But for now, have a great day and see you in the next one.